All right, good evening. Thank you all for making time tonight and coming out. My name is Chris Delahanty. I'm the Superintendent of Business Services. We're here tonight to provide an update on next year's plans for Del Mar Hills, and we've been able to look at some feedback we've gotten over the last couple of meetings, be able to let you know where we are now, what we have going forward for next year. We do have tonight Andrew Sleep, thank you for hosting, your principal, and then our superintendent, Dr. McClurger here. We also have Carrie Beach, our executive assistant for our business services department. So while it's more informational, we're definitely here to answer questions, and she'll be able to take notes so that we don't miss anything, because I'm standing up here and miss something that might be a note that we need to follow up on after tonight. So with that, I'll jump in and I'll go through some detail on it, our next steps for next year, where we are with it, and I might be happy to, if there are questions about the pieces that we go through, I'm happy to answer questions as we go as well, so feel free to call out or raise a hand or have you, and we can go from there. So we're really looking at reviewing some of the information from prior presentations and really providing an update on 24-25 and talking about what we're doing for next year, how we're planning for next year, and what it will look like. So as we've shared, here's a rendering of the front entry after we've modernized it and we come back in August of 2025. As we talked about in the past, there were two options that we looked at, the two construction phases. Having a phased on-site that would have taken 22 months, having students off-site, which is where we've landed, which would be something where we can get students off the end of the school year and jump right into construction and demolition in June, and then work over school year, summer, and move back into the school in August of 2025. And that is the direction we've got from the board and the steps that we're taking and where we're going at this, moving forward with the Del Mar Hills Academy modernization. So when we look at 2024-2025, we'll be talking about it by satellite campuses, because the goal is to maintain Hills culture, maintain Hills connections, and maintain what you have at Hills, while we'll have 1 year off and be able to bring it back together so that we can keep what is really special about Hills. So we're doing a lot of work with Andrea, with the teaching staff, and then continue to work with the community, and I know that there's been a principal's coffee, really trying to make sure that we're working together to make sure that we can make this a great year for the students. So as we talked about at the last meeting, the Del Mar Heights School will have a capacity of about 21 K-6 classrooms. When we look at sections rolling up, we have 13 for Heights, 14 for Delmar Hills, which gives us 27. So we do not have the capacity, because when we look at sections, we don't just look at enrollment, to have both schools on the Delmar Heights school campus. And so as we talked about K-3 at Delmar Heights, 4th through 6th. We talked about Sage Canyon last time. We heard the feedback, and thinking about should there be a slip program in the 4th grade that needs to be off campus. Ashley Falls does make the most sense. It allows us to have the 4th grade at Ashley Falls, and so if we have a 4th grade class, there are other slip classes there. It's proximity-wise, it's really no farther from Delmar Heights than Sage Canyon, so it will work just from a manner of busing and getting students there. And so there's upside in their space. So we've already started to talk with Ashley Falls and worked with the principal and had a principal's coffee with the Ashley Falls families as well earlier this week. And so what that would look like for Delmar Hill students, K-3rd, we project, what we do is we call it rolling up. So we roll up the students from this year to next year, and then project about the same number of kindergartners. That would give us 8 sections, K-3, 151 students that would go from Delmar Hills and be at the satellite campus of Delmar Heights. Obviously that's closer to home. Having our primary students at Delmar Heights, we have a tradition, and we have our primary kids being able to walk them into school, being able to be a little bit closer to home. It makes a lot more sense to have our younger students be the ones that would be closer. And then Ashley Falls would have 4th through 6th. That's 6 sections. It's projected to be 117 students. And we would have the slip program that's already in Ashley Falls. There'd be some support there as well. And then we'd have busing. And busing is more likely for our upper grade students, which is helpful all around when you're having more students coming onto that campus. So I think most importantly for you as parents is how does the site operate? And so when you think about having your children at another school site for a year, what does that look like? And so as I said, we're talking about satellite campuses because we want to make sure that the students have the same teachers. And so we're continuing that Delmar Hills continuum, we're continuing the connections that have been made over years with teachers that are at the school, families who've had teachers, students who have been in classes together, and allowing that continuity to happen. Teaching teams staying together, continuing to work together allows for them to maintain those connections and the teaching that they've been doing over the years. Class sizes will remain the same, of course. Our PTM, DMSEF will remain site-specific, but we'll have opportunities to collaborate to allow for best opportunities for our students. We'll have administrative staff space at each site and add administrative staff to those sites. So Delmar Hills has an admin assistant, an office assistant. One would go to each of those school sites. So you'd have a familiar face in the front office. And in addition, there's extra help at each of those school sites so that we have Delmar Hills footprint and we have the help and the support in that front office space. Same can be said for our custodial staff. So we'll have some extra custodial staff at each of those school sites to support also be some faces that will be familiar to our students. After school program and enrichment will be at both sites. So there will be opportunities depending on what your needs are for either site. And we actually just met with the Boys and Girls Club yesterday. They will remain in operation, and we will be working with them on delineating space so that they have some space over next to the Boys and Girls Club even during the construction. So we actually have I was meeting with the construction team today, and we definitely will be able to work that out so that they have some space. There won't be the lay down at that end of the field, so that shouldn't be an issue as well. And so we'll be working with them on the operational piece of transportation, how to make sure kids can get over to the Boys and Girls Club if they would like to be to continue to be a part of the Boys and Girls Club.
Can I just add to that too? The Boys and Girls Club will have a summer program, a summer camp, so we're also working with them to help to make sure that their summer camps can continue as well.
Absolutely. And then, the big thing has also been the unique culture and collaboration, making sure that we can make sure that your students still have connections and some of the fun things and exciting things that happen at the school each year. And we'll talk a little bit about those as we move on. School day, starting in, will follow our district schedule. So it'll be the same that's it's always been. We will have before school supervision starting at 7:15, and in Delmar Heights we'll do the pickup and the drop off of the busing. So if you have children who span both sites, you would be able to do a drop off at one site, bring students to Delmar Heights, and have your upper grade student be able to take the bus from there, or your primary student be able to have supervision and hang out. So we'll be staffing that, making sure that there's the ability for you to have a one drop-off. Again, the grade level teams will be together to work on after-school programs at both sites so that we can meet your needs with after-school programming. And we're, of course, working with boys and girls. Busing, if you're an upper grade parent, I'm sure is something that you're wondering about too. And so we'll have a busing that will leave, I think right now they leave 7:25-ish, Andrea?
7:30.
7:30.
7:30.
So we'll have it, so again, we'll have some supervision beforehand so that you don't have to worry about getting there right at 7:30 or waiting around. You're also be welcome to come to Del Mar Heights and hang out for a little bit and watch your child get onto the bus. But they'll get on the bus, they'll ride from Del Mar Heights to Ashley Falls and get off, and then they'll be getting there at a time when there's morning supervision and just kind of start their day like they normally would. At the end of the day, they'll be picked up if they choose to ride the bus at Ashley Falls, ride back to Del Mar Heights. And it's around 3 right now that typically is the time that students would get back to the school and then be picked up. You can come pick your child up from Del Mar Heights. So we also have supervision at the end of the day, making sure that you know, your child will be supervised should you be running late or that kind of thing, making sure that we have coverage when we're being picked up. And then impact on your child. I mean, all of the things that you traditionally do, like back to school nights and open houses and parent-teacher conferences, of course, remain the same. And then we'll work collaboratively with the school sites to make sure that the fun things that you do, like Ice Cream Social or Hill Spectacular. We've talked about surf families and looking at how do we use busing to make sure that we can do some surf families on like a monthly basis so that that doesn't go away. So we're looking at all these pieces that make Hill special and how can we make sure that we can maintain them over the course of the next year so that you're not missing a beat when you come back to Del Mar Hills in August of 2025. We'll also work with the team on promotion and making sure that it's a special promotion, and we work on location, and we've coordinated and helped support Del Mar Heights PTA in identifying location and doing some things that were in Del Mar, and so doing something that maybe is a little bit different, but also very special for our 6th graders. And so we'll help to support from a district level, and there'll be collaboration between Andrea and PTA and even Heights to make sure that we're organizing it in a manner that ensures that it's special. And so, you know, in the end, our kids, your kids, will be having, you know, a year where it will be different, but it's going to be an adventure, and they're going to make some new friends. And I can tell you that they're going to come out of it, and they're going to have had a great year. And part of that is because we're all coming into rooms beforehand and having conversations and making sure that we're looking at what are the things we need to be thinking about, and how do we make sure that we're putting those things together in a manner that makes sure that they have that great year for next year. So part of that then is the next step. So we've already started transition planning and preparation. We're having meetings regularly. Ms. Sleet, myself, Jenny Pearson, who's the principal at Del Mar Heights, Carlos Avalos, who's our director of maintenance operations and facilities, and talking about what are the things that we need to have in place to make the move. Things like moving company, because we need to move some things. We have a number of classes that are moving, making sure that we have classrooms lined up. And so in the collaboration with Ashley Falls and Del Mar Heights is part of that. As we get to the end of the school year, we'll be talking about the move and making sure that we get things in the right place, and then we'll have the summer set up a set on campuses to make sure that the classrooms are ready and inviting, and it's just like any other back to school when you come back at the beginning of next school year. With classes ready, teachers excited about having your kids, and the school year ready to jump into effect. And then we'll be in construction over that year. You'll be in a satellite campus in operation, and then in August of 2025, we'll have finished the construction. We'll be able to move back in. We'll be doing on the back end over that summer kind of the same reverse move where we're getting everything together, getting things over here, making sure that it's ready, and then we'll be able to have you starting back up in brand new classes here at Del Mar Hills for the next school year. And so with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, anything. I know that there were a couple of items that were that stuck out to me as questions that came up last meeting. One was about surveying and kind of getting an idea of what enrollment would look like. We did not send out a survey, and part of that is because our enrollment starts tomorrow. And so to do a survey a month before enrollment actually starts wasn't going to give us information a whole lot earlier, and so we're just going to go with the enrollment, and we'll have good numbers as to how many students we have in each section for each school site to start next year by the beginning of March. So we'll be able to then have an idea, would it be possible for us to put another couple classes, maybe 4th grade goes to Del Mar Heights, and so if there is space, we will absolutely keep as many as we can on the west side over here. There were questions about portables. We looked at adding portables and impact, one concern that leads us not to is you would have, the only place to put them would be on the field. So we would then have to add ADA compliance, so we'd be putting like a concrete or a blacktop connection to them, and we'd be basically putting in a new field, and then we'd be destroying that field as we're building it out. We did ask the same question that came from people was, have you consulted attorney about going through with those steps? And so I since have, and she does not advise it. So we will not be going through a step of putting portables on the Delmar Heights campus. But we will be working on enrollment and looking at how many students could we fit onto the Delmar Heights campus. Those were the main questions that I stuck up, but I'm happy to answer other questions that maybe have now or other things that came up in previous meetings. Yeah.
To follow, I have a bunch of questions, but to follow that specific question, you mentioned there's not going to be portables on Delmar Heights campus. What is the decision for Ashley Falls?
Ashley Falls will be able to accommodate 6 classes without adding portables.
In classrooms?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah.
What is the date that you will know whether or not 4th grade will be located at Ashley Falls or at Delmar Heights?
Early March.
Okay.
So enrollment closes, and I'll be working with our student services and HR who do the actual section piece of it. And so we'll be monitoring. Maybe we know better by the end of February, but early March we should definitely know, and then we will communicate with SLEEP. We'll be able to share that out. And so if there's an update to being able to ship that, we'll certainly let you know.
Tell everybody to register.
If you move 4th grade to Delmar Heights, plus Delmar Hills kids and the 6th grade over there, they feel even smaller on that side.
Yeah, but I think we still have 2 grade levels, well, 4 classes of students. We'll be able to, in looking at the school location, we'll be able to actually put them in classes where they're fairly close to each other. We will do all we can to make sure that they still have connection.
Or would they be like closer to the 5th and 6th grade of Ashley Falls?
Yeah, so they'll definitely be close to the 6th grade of Ashley Falls and fairly close to the 5th grade of Ashley Falls. So there'll also be that connection where there are some of these new friends they may be making who, or maybe not even, maybe you play soccer with them or you swim team or whatever it might be too.
And Carol, I will work closely with Carlos Macarella, who's the principal at Ashley Falls, and we will, in our PTA, to think about what we could do to facilitate, some meet and greets. We've done some pen pals right now with 6th grade Hills and Heights, so, what's an opportunity maybe to do some letter writing, even though they're on the same campus, to meet each other. And so I am so open to any ideas and brainstorming to make this really successful and have the children they'll make them feel very welcomed too. It's a good question, and I welcome any ideas that you have.
And that's a great point too, because part of the conversations that we're having are about, what are things we can do to make sure that students are comfortable as they're moving forward. I mean, they will start, I was just here for another meeting, and PE was going on, and so the teacher ran over and not ran over, the kids laughed, and I was just asking about what's going on for next year. So the kids are asking, and I think we'll start talking about, here's what's going on next year, and letting them know, and then as we start putting things in place, like these are the ideas, these are the things we're also talking about, or how do we make sure that we're building connections, and we can make sure that they are going to feel comfortable when they get over there, and maybe make some connections before the year starts, if you're an upper grade student going over to Ashley Falls, so that we can add to it, because again, there maybe are more friends that they meet, and a bigger group that they know.
And I would love any ideas, especially for all of our children, but also our 6th graders, making it a very special year for 6th, and I know I have some 6th grade parents or future 6th grade parents in the room too, just to have and make that year extra special. It makes me think about 6th grade camp for next year. So contacting instructional services to see if we can have our Ashley Falls and our Delmar Hills students go together to camp. All of those pieces to just make it a special year for them. So again, I welcome any ideas. If any parents want to be kind of on a 6th grade committee to think about for Sandra Hoyle, I know she wants to be the chair of that committee.
No, I have a follow-up. I have a follow-up on that.
Yes.
If you could facilitate our incoming 6th grade going to 6th grade camp in Delmar Heights, that'd be great, because what's going to happen is
parents can make the friends, and it's not a big deal, but
Right.
in the end, it'd be nice if we could have more connections with the sixth graders at Del Mar High, let's do that.
Good point. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Is there a work program that actually helps, instead of taking a bus, like you have a nice morning program here?
Do. Chris, I'm not sure if there's a morning program at Ashley Falls that is open at 7:15. Is that at every?
Well, we have breakfast served at every
At
single site, so you
7:30.
can come and, but let's put that down as a note that we could look into like 7:15.
And
maybe there's,
I think you're asking
yeah.
because you're gonna have a sixth grader next year
Yes.
too, and to be able to drop off, because that will be an option to drop off at Ashley Falls, right?
Yes,
If the children don't have to take the bus, so we can look into that,
Yeah.
to see.
And then if they do take the bus and then you go to the Boys and Girls Club, there will be transportation over to.
We're in the midst of figuring that, we
Mm-hmm.
just met with those guys yesterday, because yes, we're in the midst of working through all of those logistics.
Does Del Mar Heights have a Boys and Girls Club or an after-school program?
They have an after-school program, but they don't have a boys and girls club.
and in the past, the Worcester Heights students would go to this Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
And they would
Yes.
come pick up. So that was part of our conversation, so we're gonna work with them and like,
Yeah.
just kind of talking that part through.
Yeah, they said they didn't have enough cars to
Yeah.
get all the kids over.
Yeah, no, we just started the conversation,
Yes.
we're definitely gonna work with them, we understand that that's used by the community and a benefit, value. You got a question?
Will there be an opportunity for the parents and the students to see the campus before school starts? Since it's going to be new for everyone. And then also for the parents to be able to review safety protocol at new school, because it's going to be new for all of us.
Right. Yeah, we will definitely be able to have some sort of an opportunity to be able to see the school site, and we can talk to the principal about the, how the safety protocols are reviewed with parents, and absolutely, by all means, share that information with Del Mar Hills parents who are coming over too.
And Ro, you're speaking specifically to Ashley Falls?
Well, yes, because Phil's kids, Phil's parents going to Ashley Falls, they haven't been a part of the school site council, they haven't been a part of the discussion. And then for Del Mar Heights, there isn't one, or there isn't one yet, or, it's what was there before might be different because the whole facility is different. So the parents should know what the safety plan is.
Yeah, so, since you're having the conversations on the busing and drop-off, maybe you can add to it, part of it, if you're busing people to the Boys and Club, if there's an option to do a drop-off as well for kids who are not going to the Boys and Club as well, and, either stop at the Boys and Club or somewhere along the hill, right?
Yeah, on this side of the Del Mar Heights Road. Yeah.
Del Mar Heights, part.
Yeah, that is one thing we're kind of kind of that brainstorming stage, and maybe there are two buses, maybe one comes to the north side and it's Boys and Girls Club and whoever would want it. So we're gonna kind of work through what some of those options might look like, and then we'll work with the busing company too to kind of get some ideas. But yeah, that's great.
Just another quick question on the drop-off. On the drop-off at Ashley Falls, will you also do offset time? I missed the first 5 minutes. Will you also, like we did in the Hills and Heights, will you offset the time of, or that was the first year, I guess you were talking about?
Well, so the school day will be the same, but by doing a pickup for the bus at 7:30, they should get to Ashley Falls by 7:45-ish. And so it'll be a little bit early, but it's also to keep from really snarling up the traffic. So trying to get there between 7:45 and 7:50 and not have the buses arrive at 7:55 when traffic's the worst is really the goal with getting the buses through.
To follow up on the bus, could you also, as you're brainstorming, look at having a pickup bus on this side as well? So if you pick up on this side, it's gonna, we're having 2 buses, pick up one on Hills, one on Heights, it would really be great. Because getting across Del Mar Heights in the morning is a challenge and it's dangerous. I don't wanna walk kids.
Yeah.
Or if we don't have that, can we hire a crossing guard to be at Del Mar Heights Road so that our families can walk across safely? I know Solana Beach has a ton of crossing guards all around their schools when we have drop-off and pick-up. So if we can't have a bus on this side, we have a crossing guard at least to help with that.
Yeah, we'll put that down and look into it.
Boys and Girls Club, when will we know whether they're gonna have a playground available to them? If we're gonna have the kids go to Boys and Girls Club and use that little room or little building, will they also have access to a playground? And when will we know?
We will follow up with the construction team, and as we'll do a site walk and start looking at that. We're actually going to coordinate with Boys and Girls Club too. So we met, they had their director of maintenance or facilities, or somebody, a director who does that work, and so we're going to coordinate with them and the construction team to look at where that line would be. I don't have the meeting set up yet. We just met with them this week, but we'll be trying to set that up soon. So, I assume we have a pretty good idea next month or so. Yes.
I'm probably the oldest person here. I'm a grandmother, Lynn Colette. Lynn's my daughter, Colette's my granddaughter. Anyway, I do walk her down the asphalt, past the Boys and Girls Club. The surface of the asphalt is really crumbling and very unsafe. Maybe when the construction site sees that, they could put that into the plan too, to repave that.
Is it the Boys and Girls Club pathway, or is it on the?
That comes from Mango. When you approach it, come down to the school and then comes to the gate. It's really crumbling. I don't know how long it's been since it's been resurfaced.
We'll take a look. Questions or thoughts? Yeah.
Is there any breakfast option for undergraduates? Because they're gonna start from get on the bus at the 7:30, and then they know the breakfast time starts from the 7:30. So.
But it will go right up to the school day, so they'll be able to, if they get off the bus, they get there around 7:45, they still be able to get the breakfast at Ashley Falls. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How confident is the district finishing the entire project within 1 year? So that we even know
Yeah.
if we're gonna be there for 2 years.
Oh, we're confident we'll be able to get done.
And you already have like all the permits in.
Well, we're in the process of the final DSA approval, but DSA is sort of a back and forth that is really just about, we will have it likely by the end of February. So it'll be well in time. We were actually just talking also about the kind of bid timelines and getting that piece together, and that we have the time to do that. So we should be able to get things to board before the end of the school year. Then we have people come on board to be able to do the demolition and construction. As it said at some previous meetings in Civic Sky, we got done before the end of the timeline, 15 months. We said we'd get Delmar Heights, if you take out the stops and starts of the litigation, we're on track to get that done on time. I'm confident we'll be able to get this done as well and be able to get the kids back in school by that August. Chris?
Well, my question was the same regarding permits and whether or not you have them in place, so we know that we're starting right on time.
Yeah, we have everything lined up to be able to.
Do you also have plans that we're able to see? We've seen pictures at the front and the library or innovation space, but is there any other sort of drawings or renditions that we can
Yeah,
see?
we could put something together with the architect and kind of post some more information so you can get a better idea. Yeah.
Can we have the actual plans submitted to DSA, not just, renderings or whatever, but actual blueprints?
You'd like us to share the actual full set of plans, like the
Yes.
multi-100 page? Sure, reach out and I'd be happy to share that. That's not something that we post on the website. It's a much more in-depth design piece, but you reach out.
Just wondering, will there be in the design, as it's configured right now, this detailed report that you're talking about, will there be a dedicated music space, art space in the reconfiguration?
There is not a dedicated music space in the building. There is a dedicated art, science, and innovation center. And then we have classroom space, some space for special ed and PE. There isn't, unfortunately, room within it to fit a music room. So we're having some conversations about if there's something else we could do, and we'll be hopefully bringing some suggestion forward about how we might be able to remedy that.
Okay.
But the alternative would be to have music minimal in the space. It's really making sure that we can have the restrooms not really loud when you're having performances. And then we're working with our tech department on CNC presentations and then some, that we're looking at some things like with adjusting so all the ballasts and things so we don't have a flickering light. So, but beyond that, there isn't a budget for more than that.
Can I ask why there isn't going to be in this space? The reconfiguration?
There isn't space within the footprint of the school, and we have committed through the facility master plan to remove all the portables, so we run out of number of rooms. So then we're looking at, is there options that might, is there another way to put something on there that without doing a portable, so anyway, I'm trying to think of, is there a creative way for us to get something on there, maybe it connects with after-school program that we could bring and discuss with cabinet, potentially bring to the board.
And it just kind of speaks to the importance of music education in the school district. I think the fact that it's being left out of the plan altogether, and it also, you know, it's in perfect keeping with my experience here as a parent of my kids. You know, there was an orchestra when we arrived here 9, 10 years ago, which after 2 or 3 years was done away with because we lost a series of music teachers. There were at least 4 music teachers that came and went. And the problem with that is that then when I go to junior high and high schools, they tell me there's really no demand for choir here or orchestra here, and it's because we missed that window between kindergarten and 3rd grade where children are willing to sing together. Okay. And that's happening here, and it has been happening for a long time, and I've said this many times, and what I always get back is, oh, we are very concerned with music. It's absolutely a priority for the district, and we'll look into that. And so I just want to give you the feedback that it has not been looked at, and it's dying on the vine on your watch.
I hear your feedback. I think that when we're looking at space, and if one of our STEAM programs were needing to go in another space, that music made the most sense if we had to have one of art, science, music in an area like the PAC. And so, I mean, there'd be, you know, I only have so much space to work with, so I'm trying to do the best we can with the funds and the space we have. So I can totally understand where you're coming from. It is something we're looking at to see if there's a creative way where we could get some space, add some space.
Is this currently where students meet for music class? Is this where students meet for music now?
No.
Okay.
Give an answer.
Please.
Not currently. Right now, we have a portable that's right off of the parking lot, off of the main building, and that's where music class is right now. Because we also have to consider the noise, right? Because we want music to be loud and joyful, and so to have it right next to a classroom could be problematic. So that's also a part to think about why it wouldn't be in the building. So that's currently where music takes place right now.
But it couldn't be in this space on a regular basis. That wouldn't work. Here, in this room.
It was in here for a while.
We did have music in the pack last year.
Oh.
Yes, and we found that we wanted to try it out in a portable.
If we're not gonna have that portable space, maybe this could be an option again. I don't know.
That's what Chris is talking about, because 100% we will have music. It's very much valued in our district, and we know that it's very much valued here at Delmar Hills. And we have a very viable, wonderful music program. And Josh, you and I have had conversations that it is very valued by our district. So it's just we're looking at the space that will be the best fit for the music program.
Yeah, I know my daughter has recently signed up to be in choir. I know it's just a lunchtime thing. It's only open 3rd to 6th graders. And so maybe it'll expand to kindergarten in a second, but that's something that she's super excited about. So.
Yes, Alexa, we're very excited to start choir.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're very excited.
Oh, my question was, when Mrs. Evans came here next year, she's a phenomenal leader.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yes, and I know that Josh last year we talked about music teachers have come and gone, but we've had music teachers that have also moved, they're still in the district, but they've moved into the classroom. So there's lots of different reasons why a teacher might move, from that music position. We do have Mrs. Lard, Mrs. Okadafor, who were music teachers here at Del Mar Hills, but now are classroom teachers as well.
I was just wanting to understand, like, we have Mrs. Zizek in the library, teachers like Mrs. Mancuso and, or
Miss
Mrs.
Edwards,
Edwards.
that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we have our art teacher, Coach G, Coach Hill. I'm just trying to understand, are they gonna be hopping between the two campuses? Like, they will say the resources for Del Mar Hills, and they're gonna go between the two campuses and
They will.
just Blue Hills kids?
They will. The STEAM Plus schedule is a very complicated, purposeful process.
Mhm.
So this will add a new layer to it, but yes, our STEAM Plus teachers will be our Del Mar Hills STEAM Plus teachers. So they will be at Del Mar Heights for Hills to provide that
Mhm.
learning opportunity, and then they will be at Ashley Falls to support our Hills students. So they will still be our STEAM Plus teachers. It'll be a very complicated, great schedule.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask this question. I know that tardiness is an issue within our district and the state. You just now had how many years of another school on our campus? Has the district been tracking, the tardiness of the kids riding the bus at Ocean Air versus, the other kids from Del Mar Heights versus the other schools in the district as to whether or not this change in satellite campuses has affected attendance and start times?
I know that we've done a analysis of that, this specific one, but that's a great question. Yeah, I don't oversee the enrollment piece, so I certainly haven't, but it's something that it's a great question. Let's see, Carrie writing, so
He's writing that down, right?
But my kids didn't do that. They
Yeah.
ride a bus and they show up to me a couple of times. So I feel part of the responsibility for that. I don't know if this is a question or comment, but I know that our son has made some great friends here at Del Mar Hills, the culture that he loves it. I guess I'm a little bit concerned that perhaps some parents may want to be inspired to us and maybe thinking about this enrollment. What do you say to parents like that? Because it's something like convenient for them, or tardiness really about being. I'm a bus kid, go on the bus. I think it goes character, I think it's good for them, but what do you say to parents that are thinking about possibly making because of that?
Well, first, every family has a dynamic and a reason why you make a decision, right? So I wouldn't presume to say that, you shouldn't do one thing or another. But I would say that I know when we first started the busing and I was there, and we had Del Mar Heights kids getting on, there's excitement. It is unique. It's not something that you ride every time. So they're riding with their friends, and to be honest, I think for the kids, this is going to be a memorable year. There's going to be a certain sense of adventure. I think doing that with your friends would be exciting. So I think that we can embrace this as a year where, our kids are going to get to go do something that's different. I'd be willing to bet that if you have a 5th or 6th grader or 4th grader, they look back and think back to elementary school, they're probably going to remember this year more than some others because it's unique. And so how can we make sure that it's a fun year and that they have a great year of it, but I can tell you that they're going to have a good year. They're going to have their wonderful Del Mar Hills teachers. They're going to have their fantastic principal. They're going to have the STEAM Plus folks, and then they're going to have their friends. So, if I were in your shoes, I would have my sons, they're in high school now, but I would say, jump on the bus and hang out with your friends.
Go ahead.
I just kind of.
Of course.
Is there going to be any, formal, sit kids down and talk about all this with them?
Thank you for asking that question. I actually have a parent letter drafted to all of you and all of the whole community to send it out, just to recap all of the information, just as Paul Malou brought up, that, I just want to make sure, of course, families, they're the ones that need to make the decision that's best for their families. It's just, we're so attached to your children and attached to all of you, but we want you to make that best decision. You really can't go wrong because all of our 9 schools are incredible. So I just want to make sure everyone has all the information to help support that decision. But I did include in the parent letter that the teachers and I would love to talk with the children to explain to them what's going to happen, because I don't want them to think Del Mar Hills is going away. Del Mar Hills is just getting a really big facelift, because Del Mar Hills is also turning 50 next year. So it's very exciting, and the children, their school is very important to them, obviously, and their friends and the staff. And so I just want to reassure them that we're going to be there for them and explain it to them. So we are planning to do that within the next couple of weeks. But I wanted to let all of you know that we were going to do that.
So can I just say real quick, can we please not use the language of facelift and 50?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
There was a study that just came out about how girls, like young girls, are using anti-wrinkle face cream at 10. So I just want to make sure we don't use any of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that with the children, Hannah. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I apologize. Del Mar Hills is just going to be remodeled. So thank you for sharing that.
I think some people might find this question a little silly, but I have heard of some parents concerned about safety of the buses. Are the buses, like, I've also heard that modern school buses have seatbelts, like that's a rule in California that they should have seatbelts. So will we be using modern school buses to transport our children?
So if they are built after 2004, 2006, they have to have seatbelts. There are still buses in operation that are grandfathered in that are older than that. I am not going to fully promise, but I am under the understanding that San Marcos, with whom we contract, has some new buses coming on, and so we should be moving into a point where we have a likelihood that we have seatbelts across all buses next year.
On that note, is there supervision on the buses? Like the bus driver is driving, right? The kids in the back are driving.
I know currently for Del Mar Heights, we do have a staff member that rides the bus. Those will be all the logistics that I will be looking into, because safety is the top priority. So we would be looking into likely having somebody. I'm all about trusting our children. That's a really big message that I always send to our children, but safety is also a very big priority.
And one of the nice things of working with a school district is they have, these are school district bus drivers who have been driving with kids for years. So we also do have experienced school district bus drivers from San Marcos who are the bus drivers for these buses, which is a benefit. It also is a benefit that we're able to work with them because there aren't a lot of busing options out there. So I'll just be honest, we had an outside organization that we're working with, and they stopped working with us. They didn't have enough drivers, and San Marcos has been fantastic to work with. And so we look forward, we are already scheduling conversations with them, and they say that they will be able to support us for next year. So we're working all that out as well.
Principal Street might even be riding the bus sometimes too. Why not?
Questions or thoughts or? Yeah.
I just want to put another plug in for a bus stop on this side of I keep saying the 5, but it's the Del Mar Heights Road.
It's like,
Yeah, I've lived here a long time, so I'm not gonna say much, but my older kids rode the bus to Earl Warren when they did that, and the bus stop was actually where Boys and Girls Club is. So my daughter did not ever flinch at a 6:15 pickup. She loved walking down there, she met neighbors, she got to be with the kids. But it was a great experience, and it was the neighborhood experience that we want for our kids. So it'd be great if there was some way that we could try to keep a bus on the side of the road. They know how to do a loop. They did a loop all around Peta and up to go back down to Del Mar Hills Road. Yeah, Del Mar Heights Road.
Yeah. No, I do. I appreciate that input. It is great to get the different perspectives of it because it helps us when we're going and having conversations to think about what are the options. Then we can talk with the busing company about, here are the places we're looking at. Can you, and so we will absolutely take that in and we'll be talking about it.
So Sandra, you're saying we should do an earlier bus pickup?
No.
My kids didn't complain.
I know, I'm just kidding.
They complain now, but.
I agree with that, just because I'm thinking I've got one that would be riding the bus and two that won't, and it's either I drop all of them off really early or 2 drop-offs at the Heights, so I would love a bus on the side too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are at this school because it feels like the neighborhood school, and I think a lot of us are on this side. So,
Yes.
I forfeit that.
Yeah, especially if they're going to Boys and Girls Club.
Say it again.
Especially if they're going to Boys and Girls Club.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming out. I appreciate the input. It is valuable. I know that Carrie's got a lot of notes. But again, we're going to be working on this all spring. We're committed to putting the resources and the time and effort into it to make sure that it's a great year for your kids and to make sure that we get the construction started on time, get it done on time so that you can come back and celebrate the next year.
Yes, sorry to.
No, go ahead.
The question of posting plans, are we going to post some version of the plans online?
Yeah, we'll post some renderings and other things. We don't post full plan sets, but they are public, so I'm happy to, I mean, if somebody really would like to look at plan sets of documents, I'm happy to, reach out to me on it.
At least the renderings and some
Oh, yeah.
list of what's not in the
Yeah, we'll put some more up so that we can share, so that you get a little bit better, feel and look for it. Well, again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Thank you all.